Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. Is this right? My name is Matt. Hello. What's up? Okay, so Buffy time. Last time on Buffy we had a weird episode where I don't know, they fucked the whole episode and Sandra and Anya kind of saved the day, which was kind of fun in the sense that I like whenever an episode doesn't have Buffy be the main focus of attention and we actually delegate a little bit to our other characters in the show and they are able to do stuff. I like that. However, it was a kind of whatever episode. But then I watched Angel. That was the best episode of Angel so far. However, a big part of that Angel episode and the enjoyment of it was actually what you carry over from Buffy. So again, it's another Angel episode that really depends on you already watching Buffy in order to work. However, Faith went to Los Angeles and it was great actually. Again, every episode where Faith is in is immediately a great episode. That's how I feel about this show so far. It's like a rule of Faith. Whenever Faith is on screen, you are watching a good episode. And whenever Faith isn't on screen, you should be asking, when is Faith gonna come back on screen? But she went to Angel Town. If you're watching this in the future, I did a reaction video that you can watch on that Angel episode, so go check it out. I think it's called 5x5. It's episode 18, season 1. It's incredible. Fucking banger of an episode. Because it is the most important episode for Faith as a character, I think, so far. And like, I've said this before, Faith is like my favorite character in this entire franchise. Like, she's incredible. It's really weird to me to have something so important happen on this spin-off show. But that's fine because Faith is not really the center of attention anymore for this show. But I feel like she should be. Alright, yeah, that's what I watched. It was incredible. I got some blood taken out of me the other day. So I was a little bit weak after that. And now I'm recording this. It is also a rainy day. Right now you can't hear it, but you may be able to hear it later if it gets more intense. Just letting you know. Like, I still do some noise canceling and stuff on my microphone. I put all the audio through an audio editing software and apply a couple filters in order to reduce all that noise and stuff. But if the audio quality goes down, it's most likely because I had to apply some filters in order to get rid of the noise in the background. So yes, it's raining. That's all you need to know. All right. I think we can just begin. Let's just do this. So anyway, Patreon. Check out the Patreon. Link in the description below. Pop up on screen. You can support the channel and watch the next episode reaction to Angel and Buffy. So episode 19 for Angel and episode 20 for Buffy, as well as full-length reactions if you're into that. And just supporting the channel, that would be great. Let's begin. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4, episode 19. Let's go.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, is Oz coming back? Willow, I didn't know you were bisexual.
Yours?
That was the best scene of the two of them together. Just, that was so clear.
Familiar? Actually, I was thinking it'd be sort of like a pet. You know.
We're already moving on to adopting children together.
My kill count's way down.
She means there's been less bad guy activity.
Oh, is this the first one where Tara is part of it?
We've been busy at the initiative. Our squads are pulling a lot more captures, so we've got demons coming out our ears.
That's a metaphor. I got it, thanks.
Is it Oz? Hi.
Hey.
Hey, I just filmed a movie. I had some free time. Decided to come back for one episode at the end of the season. Listen, man, I liked Oz right until the episode where all that shit happened, and then I immediately stopped liking Oz. Then Tara showed up, and my entire attention just shifted.
So are you here, or are you just passing through?
Let's not bombard the poor chap with questions right off.
Look, I'm going to Devon's to see if he's got a place I can crash, but I was hoping that we could talk. Later.
I guess so.
It's great to see you guys again. Really.
All right.
Everyone's uncomfortable now.
Yeah.
I realized I'm late for study group.
Tara, wait.
No, it's okay. You should be with your friends, and I should go.
But
I was missing something this afternoon, wasn't I?
A lot of things.
Oz and Willow had a rough breakup.
Also, he's a werewolf, by the way, just so you know.
Stuff came up, and Oz pretty much bailed overnight. It left Will really devastated.
So what about the cheating
The
aspect?
thing
Can we
is,
talk about
before
that?
They were doing great. I mean, she was totally dealing with Oz being a werewolf. It wasn't even...
Back up there.
Yeah.
Oz is a werewolf, and Willow was dating him?
Yeah.
Man, you're kidding me.
It's fine. I did
Gotta
it
say, I'm
vampires
surprised.
before.
I didn't think Willow was that kind of girl. Into dangerous guys. She seems smarter than that.
Oz is not dangerous. Something happened to him that wasn't his fault. God, I never knew you were such a bigot.
To be fair, he doesn't know much about
He
werewolves.
tries to eat you once a month.
Yeah, well, love isn't logical, Riley. It's not like you can be Mr. Joe Sensible about it all the time. God knows I haven't been.
I'm not talking about you.
How about we don't talk about this at all?
This is a weird argument. Kind of came out of nowhere. That's the kind of argument you have if someone is already kind of feeling a little bit stressed out. All right, so we have to break it to us. I have a girlfriend now. Moved on like pretty much immediately, like 2 episodes later.
This is also weird. I feel like this isn't really happening. Like it's a dream or something.
Look up.
It's a full moon.
Look at the sky.
It's a full moon and he's not transformed.
I guess you stopped keeping track of them after I left.
He somehow undid it.
But how? I mean, you did it. How did you do it? Where did you go?
That's a long story.
My God, Oz. This is, I mean, that's wonderful for you.
I talked to Xander, and he said you didn't have a new guy.
No.
Technically correct.
I'm not gonna push, but I am a different person than when I left. And I can be what you need now. That's why I'm here.
It's not happening, dude. So my question is the show going to use the word girlfriend? Because it seems like they're doing their fucking hardest to tell you that Willow and Tara are dating without actually telling you that Willow and Tara are dating. Probably because they didn't want to say it on network television in the year 2000. Like somebody would have been upset if they did that and they didn't want to risk it.
A woman in Tibet traded it to me for the Radiohead record. Got a lot of mileage out of the barter system.
What the fuck? You went to Tibet?
That's where I stayed the longest. This warlock in Romania sent me to the monks there to learn some meditation techniques.
That's awesome.
All about keeping your inner cool.
I would love to have a full episode just seeing what the fuck he did.
You keep your cool and no more Wolfie?
Well, there's more. Take some herbs and stuff.
Oh, it's not gone. He needs to like, he's like a monk now. That's the only way he can keep it at bay. So that means that it's going to happen again because it's not completely gone.
Here. Same old Sunnydale.
It's fine, girl. You became a lesbian. It's great.
You could just sleep a little while.
I'll have the less confusing waffles right now.
Was Willow's actress like sick for this recording or something? She sounds like she's a little stuffy right now. Could be wrong though, but she sounds a little bit. Oh, it's Sarah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'll come back.
Are you looking for Willow? She's just in the bathroom down the hall.
No, it's okay.
I saw you at Giles yesterday.
Yeah, sometimes Willow takes me with her to the Scoobies.
You sure you don't want to come in? Your friend came by. The blonde girl, but she wouldn't stay.
Like you two literally missed each other by like 5 seconds after you left and before you came back. I just realized that entire sequence where they fought some monsters or whatever, the initiative guys, I wasn't paying attention at all to what the fuck just happened. I just realized that there was a full scene that I just didn't register anything about it. Because the only thing I care about right now is that relationship.
Somehow I've managed to piss you off.
Yeah. What's up?
I should go home.
I only said what I said because I'm concerned. I don't want to see her get hurt.
You sounded like Mr. Initiative. Demons bad, people good.
Something wrong with that theorem?
There are creatures, vampires, for example, that aren't evil at all.
Name one.
Right, we need you downstairs.
Did they kill him?
Lost Willis.
Graham?
He's walking, going on a hunt.
What kind of demon was it?
Does it matter?
Like, awful moment to have that conversation.
I want to hear about you and Oz. You saw him, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
He said he was gonna find a cure, and he did. In Tibet.
Oh my
That's
God.
wild.
I'm all with the woohoo here, and you're not.
No, there's woo and who. But there's uh-oh and why now? It's complicated.
Why complicated?
Just Tara, just image of Tara right here.
Because of Tara.
Yeah.
You mean Tara has a crush on Oz?
Girl,
No.
girl, what show have you been living in?
Oh. Oh, that's great. You know, I mean, I think Tara's a really great girl, Will.
She's incredible, actually. I can vouch.
There's something between us.
There's more than something.
It's just powerful. And it's totally different from what Oz and I have.
Well, there you go. I mean, you know, you have to follow your heart, Will, and that's what's important, Will.
Why do you keep saying my name like that?
Like what, Will?
Are you freaked?
What?
Is she weirded
No,
out?
Will. No. No, absolutely no to that question.
It's just like a shock, maybe?
I'm glad you told me.
Okay.
I was gonna tell him, but then we started hanging out, and he's Oz, you know?
Okay. Okay.
I know.
I don't want to hurt anyone, Buffy.
Well, unfortunately, we're in a bad situation. You're gonna have to be honest to both of them. Spike's just taking a nap.
You're in for a world of
Yeah.
pain.
Spike, I want you to come with me.
Do you? Well, let's go then.
You're going to help me with my problem.
This is...
Why is that exactly?
Okay, what are we doing?
I'm going to help you with yours.
Oh, is he gonna remove the chip?
Hi. I can only stay for a minute. I have class.
Me too. I have class too.
I just want you to know that what you saw this morning, it wasn't.
No, it's okay. I always knew that if he came back.
We were just talking.
Really? Whatever you know happens, I'll still be here. I'll still be your friend.
Of course we'll be friends.
But I'm saying I know what Oz means to you.
How can you? And I'm not even sure. I know what he meant to me. But he left and everything changed. I changed and life was starting to get so good again, and you're a big part of that. Here comes the thing I wanted most of all, and I don't know what to do. I want to know, but I don't.
Do what makes you happy.
Lean in. Lean in. Okay. Alright. It's interesting that she practically told Buffy, but she didn't tell Tara. Why did...
I thought I heard Willow.
Oh, right, werewolf was smell.
You're coming back to school here, huh? That's great. I mean, it's great for you and Willow, right?
I hope so.
Good. That's because
Is that her sweater?
I just hope that you guys will be very happy.
You smell like her. She's all over you. Do you know that?
I can't talk about this.
But there's something to talk about? Are you two involved?
I have to go.
Because she never said anything to me like that. We talked all night and she never... Oh, stop!
He still thinks it's cool.
Is she in love with you?
Is it turning? Oh boy.
Run.
Okay. Like, it's not even nighttime, but I guess it just happens regardless. God, I forgot how, like, Oz, or just werewolves in general in the show just look funny. Just a man in a bowl of fur. Okay, they got him.
Are you okay?
Oh, they're gonna capture
Take it
Oz.
from here.
That's bad. That's real bad.
You don't understand. That's a...
Listen, we know what we're doing. You're in shock. We'll handle it.
Oh boy.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, a lot is happening this episode. I'm gonna say it is possible that Oz fucking dies. You know, like left the show and then he comes back for one episode to die and just raise the stakes. And also leave the way open for Tara.
She is a whiny little thing, but when it comes to the fighting, she does have a slight tendency to win.
Yeah,
Then
warn
I
him.
guess you should be on her side.
He's gonna be on her
It's all
side.
the chip comes out, yeah? No
I'm telling you, Spike is gonna help us. Spike is gonna be good. He keeps saying he's bad, but he's actually gonna be good.
Oz, we were talking and he changed right in front of me. Riley and the commando guys, they stopped him, but they don't know it's Oz. I tried to tell them, but they took him away.
Alright. Let's see how this goes. Because it seems like we're finally culminating on the idea of, like, you know, not all demons are bad versus all demons are bad. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Oz.
He won't be able to talk for a while. We gave him Haldol to keep him quiet.
Why? He's not a threat now.
I allowed you to stay as long as you let us do our work, Agent Finn. Only Colonel McNamara can place a cease order on medical testing, and he's told us to proceed.
If you let him talk, he could explain.
Hey, that's enough. Come on, the guy's a student. I know him.
Take him out.
Alright, I like that Riley's actually fighting this.
I can't wait much longer.
I know.
We just waited for like a couple hours?
Besides, I need you to help Giles hack into the city's electrical grid. We've got to try to power down the initiative.
Giles can do it without me. I can give him all the instructions. I can show him
Giles
exactly
hack
what to do.
the city's power? You can't just instruct someone how to do that. That shit is already insanely difficult to do. I don't even know if it's possible.
Make him take us.
Or you could just choose the back way.
Ooh.
Hell of a lot less bother. The door was unlocked. You might want to watch that, Rupert.
That door is always unlocked.
Short of cash, Spike?
I happen to be seeking monetary gratification, yeah. I can get you in. No alarms, no cameras,
I don't know if I trust
no waiting.
Oh. Okay. Is he doing this solo? Is he going rogue? Oh my god. Alright. It's wild how many things are happening within like 2 minutes of each other in this episode.
Permission to speak, Colonel.
Denied.
Fuck you too.
Then you meet this girl, this Slayer, and suddenly you begin to exhibit signs of disloyalty. You abuse your command to release a lethal HST back into the population.
Sir, the prisoners.
You will speak when I tell you to!
Punch him.
Tomorrow, I am going to institute a court-martial to investigate the extent of your involvement with the Slayer and her band of freaks.
Cool.
They're anarchists, Finn. You help us take them down, and you just might save your military career. Otherwise, you'll go to your grave labeled a traitor.
How about I go to my grave labeled as a good man, huh? How about that shit? Is that where Adam came out of? Like a long time ago? I seem to remember that, but I don't remember from when.
Left your town like Sunnyvale.
Like, what is the Adam?
Locks.
Also, that's true what he just said. Everything is unlocked in this fucking city. I know that was just a hack from Adam, I think, but it's true that everything is unlocked in Sunnydale. People just walk into rooms.
Hey! You know who I am?
Finn stays in the brig. Helping an HST escape is a court-martial offense. You're only going to make matters worse.
Riley tried to help Oz escape.
Didn't even know that.
That's who you came for.
Hey, you dropped.
No, you dropped.
How'd you get in?
Talk later. Stealthy escape now.
Oh, so your career is gone, man.
I leave now, I can't ever come back. I just wanted to hear that out loud.
Okay, I like that. He was like, I needed to say it out loud in order to be sure what my decision was going to be. Oh man, of course.
I'll kill him.
That's a lie. She's a better bird than anyone here.
Look it back.
Yeah.
You're a dead man, Finn.
No, sir. I'm an anarchist.
That's good. That's good. That's good. This is good. I like that. I like that. Next time we see Riley, he's wearing a leather jacket. He's got himself a mohawk, green hair, listening to the Sex Pistols. He got Spike CD.
Quite a day, huh?
I'm glad I know where I stand. Finally. I was wrong about Oz. I was being a bigot.
No, you weren't. You found out that Willow was in kind of an unconventional relationship.
Which is exactly what Buffy did earlier. And yeah, that's why that was there. Are we gonna talk about Angel, finally?
I have to tell you some stuff.
Okay.
About my past.
Yes. And my bad tendency about relationships.
This thing looks pretty good, considering you drove it overseas.
How?
I just thought I changed.
You have changed. You stopped the wolf from coming out. I saw it.
I couldn't look at you. The one thing that brings it out of me is you, which falls under the heading of ironic in my book. But you're happy.
I am. I can't explain it.
Maybe safer for both of us if you don't.
I missed you, Oz. I wrote you so many letters. I couldn't live like that.
It was stupid to think that you'd just be waiting.
I was waiting. I feel like some part of me will always be waiting for you. Like if I'm old and blue-haired and I turn the corner in Istanbul and there you are, I won't be surprised because you're with me. You know? What are you gonna do?
I think I better take off.
As usual.
When?
Like right now. Okay. We gotta give them some closure, both of them.
No candles? Well, I brought one. Tara, I have to tell you.
No, I understand. You have to be with the person you love.
Yes, actually.
I am.
You mean?
I mean, I feel horrible about everything I put you through. And I'm gonna make it up too. Starting right now.
Yay.
Right now?
Cut the credits. Good stuff. We don't get to see what they did, but it's strongly implied. Like every other scene they have together. Tara episode. I like a Tara episode. It wasn't fully a Tara episode, but it was enough of a Tara episode for me to like it. And then after Oz and Willow determined that even though they care about each other, they cannot be together, Oz left and made his own spin-off show, just like Angel did. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That is closer to both the character of Oz as well as their relationship, because the way that it abruptly ended was so abrupt that it felt like there needed to be some kind of closure, and then this episode gave us that. And it's interesting because it also gave us the drama of the relationship between Willow and Tara, which I said it earlier and I was like, are they gonna say the word girlfriend at some point? And they didn't. But we have done practically everything we possibly can to not say outright what is happening between Willow and Tara, while simultaneously showing you multiple times repeatedly and every character saying it without actually using the words that they're dating. It was kind of funny how Buffy was earlier in the episode like, what, Tara has a crush on Oz? And I'm like, girl, what universe are you living in? Okay. One, she's very distracted with Riley. There was a full episode she missed because she was just fucking. And then second, she doesn't get access to those scenes that we get to see when they're making spells together. She doesn't get to see that. Only I get to see that, okay? So she doesn't have the insight that I have. However, look at them. But the reason why Buffy said that was because later in the episode, she was like, because earlier she mentioned that Riley was a bigot for assuming that Oz was a dangerous person. And then later in the episode at the end, she was like, actually, no, you weren't a bigot. You just found out that your friend was in a kind of unconventional relationship and you reacted in a surprise manner, but that doesn't make you a bad person. You just had a moment of like, oh, okay, and then you had to readjust and you were like, no, it's fine, which is exactly what Buffy did when Willow told her without actually saying it. And Buffy had a moment where she was like, oh, yes, Will, and then she was like, no, it's fine. So that's cool. That's very cool. I like the Tara parts of the episode. I don't know how I feel about the Oz parts of the episode. I really don't. Because the episode where Oz left, I don't remember the name of the episode, but essentially Oz cheated on Willow, half consciously, half subconsciously, but he did make the plan to do so, but he didn't consciously do it, but he did lock himself in the cage with the other werewolven. So, like, up until that point, I liked Oz as a character. I wasn't, like, super crazy about Oz, but I did like Oz. So, when that episode happened, I had a moment of, like, okay, that's weird. For Oz as a character, that's weird. I'm not gonna say it's, like, out of character, but it's the thing where, like, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And when it did, I was like, okay, that does make me like him less. However, the same rules kind of apply to Willow cheating on him as earlier. So it's this thing where I'm sitting here like, I don't know, like both of you fucked each other up. That doesn't justify any of them over the other, but it is just something to keep in consideration that I'm like, yeah, this is an unhealthy relationship. Like at some level, you have to be like, they clearly care about one another, but I don't know how much of the relationship is like real enough in order for them to be like, yeah, like I'm gonna cheat on my partner. Like this is something that I don't consider to be an incredibly outrageous thing to do. Which is interesting because it makes me think to what Willow said at some point in this episode. She said that clearly she cares about Oz because, come on, it's Oz. She clearly has feelings for him. However, the feelings that she has for Oz are different from the feelings that she has for Tara. It was an interesting thing to say because it makes me think that maybe she was never really in love with Oz. She just thought that she was. Because, like, that's also the thing about like love in general, but also especially when you're a teenager. You don't really know if what you're doing is right or wrong. And even defining some things as right or wrong doesn't really fit. You kind of roll with the punches and see what happens. And there is very much a real possibility that Willow thought she was in love with Oz and thought that she knew what being in love with someone was. So she just hung out with Oz, cheated on him, got cheated on by him. She got hurt. They both got hurt, and then left. And of course you're gonna get hurt, and of course you're gonna care because this is someone that's close to you. Even if you don't really feel that intense love and passion, that I'm not sure if it was there or wasn't there, that's still gonna hurt you because it's someone that's close to you. However, when it comes to Tara, maybe that was the first time Willow actually did fall in love with a person. Maybe Willow didn't know that was the case, like what actually that would feel like. So now that she has the comparison of these two relationships, she can clearly tell, no, this is how I feel about Tara, and this is very much real. How I feel about Oz is a place where I clearly care about him, and I am happy for him and all the progress is made. However, I don't want to be with him. Like Oz even implied at one moment, like, you know, let's sleep together, and Willow was like, no, I don't wanna, right? Just instantly. Like, she's just thinking about Tahara too much. Which, when the whole thing with Sander happened, she was very quick to dismiss Oz out of the equation and was like, I'ma do it. So the fact that she didn't do it this time, partially because she learned from her mistakes, because she realized how much pain she wrought, and she doesn't decide to do that again, or maybe she just cares about Tara that goddamn much because she loves Tara. So I think we can maybe say that yes, this is the first time Willow has actually been in love for real, and that is Tara. Anyway, this episode had like the most amount of Tara relationship that we've had in the show so far. So for that reason alone, I kind of like this episode. There was a lot of drama, a lot regarding Oz, but like at the same time, it has to be, you know what actually was my favorite scene? Is whenever Oz was like, Willow, and then he looked and it was Tara, and she was like, oh, you got the scent of her, and he was like, oh, you're covered in it. It's like you're wearing her jacket or whatever it was. And I love that scene because Tara was kind of in her own head, not knowing how to process the social relationship, the social interaction that was happening with Oz. She was just like, it's great. It's great that you two are together. And like Oz is talking and asking her questions, and she's just like running, I am not good enough for Willow.exe. And she's just running that process, and she's just saying like, it's great that you're true. I think that's great for her that you are here, and I gotta go. And she's not even, I need to check again, but I don't think she's even looking at him. She's just like running that part in her brain, just telling like, no, she's not gonna be with me. She's gonna be with Oz. She loves Oz. I gotta go. And Oz, on the other hand, is just shaking her, and it's like, do you two have a thing together? And Tara doesn't know what the fuck to do. Because in her head, she's just given up. She just gave up, and she was like, oh, she's gonna be with Oz, clearly. And Oz is like, are you two fucking? And then he transforms, and then the whole episode just escalates into nonsense. Like, this episode you can kind of divide into relationship drama and then escalation of like, Oz transforms, get taken into the initiative, Riley goes rogue, they imprison him, we kidnap a guy, we get inside, we have a rescue hostage situation, we free both Riley and Oz, and then Riley gets to like betray and formally quit the initiative and become an anarchist and punch the system in the face. It was weird because like the first like 30 minutes of the episode was that exclusively, and then the final 4 minutes of the episode came back to that. But in the middle, we had like 10 minutes of like, I don't know, escalation. A lot of things just happened. And then at the end, we go back to a relationship drama. So that was a little bit funny to me. But like up until that moment of escalation, I was very on board with everything that was happening regarding Tara and regarding Oz. It's funny because like last episode, I don't remember if it was the last Buffy episode or the last Angel episode, but I mentioned how I love Tara. She's like genuinely one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise, really. And the reason why is because how awkward she was and also how desperate she was. In the initial episodes where we met her, she was immediately from the get-go very clearly had a crush on Willow, and she was very desperate to hang out with Willow, while simultaneously being too awkward to do so properly and too awkward to make any like proper moves. And in fact, she was very self-defeatist in the sense that I always remember that scene where Willow was like, oh, I'm busy. And Tara was like, yeah, of course, never mind. And Willow was like, no, we can hang out later. And Tara just fucking walked away and didn't even look at her. And it was like, that was Tara running away because she immediately gave up in her head. She was like, okay, of course Willow doesn't want to hang out with me. Why would she want to hang out with me? And just walked away. And Willow was like, no, really, I want to be with you. And then she just moved on. And I like that. And that's Tara to me. So in this episode, we actually do get to see that a little bit. Because recently I mentioned how Tara has been less of a like weirdo because her relationship with Willow is like stable. They're fine. They're good with each other. So they just hang out together. And we just have nice conversations, right? And nice spell nights. Wink. But something that I wanted to see more was going back to the fact that Tara is very awkward and uncomfortable and inside of her own head. So in this episode, we actually do get to see that a lot. Like as soon as Oz shows up, Tara is like, I gotta go, and she just runs away. Willow is trying to reach out to Tara, and Tara just runs away. Oz is like, oh, you want to talk to Willow? Come in. And she's like, no, I gotta run away. She just runs away. Willow goes to talk to Tara, and Tara cannot possibly say how she feels out loud. It is impossible for Tara to say those things. Like, Tara never actually says, like, we have a thing together, or I love you, or like, I thought we had a thing. Like, nobody ever implies that. It's just like, oh, we're all hanging out together. But it's never like, I thought we had a thing together. So as soon as Oz shows up, they're not treating it as if Willow and Tara were girlfriends. They were treating it as like, there was a maybe spark that was present or wasn't, and neither is sure about it. So when Oz shows up, Tara just immediately gives up. She's like, of course, I don't have a fighting chance against this. And clearly Willow would be happier if this was the case. So I'm just gonna run. And Willow does feel like she is unsure about what to do. But that is almost funny for me as the audience, and maybe this doesn't apply to the entire audience, but it applies to me specifically, where my reaction if I was Willow would have been like, sorry, I got a girlfriend now. Just immediately parry that and leave, because it's so obvious to me. It's so clear to me. It's not even a point of like, oh, I have to consider, I have to like, oh, I have to watch out not to hurt him. I would just be like, sorry, my priorities changed. You left for like a year and I got a girlfriend now and things are going great. We really care about one another. She is amazing. And like, you can hang out and we can all be friends together and stuff, but like, our thing is not happening because it hasn't been happening for a year. You can't just come back and expect that to just reignite. Which is interesting because at the end of the episode, Oz did exactly say that. He was like, it was stupid of me to think that I could just walk in and you would be waiting for me. And Willow's response was interesting because she said something like, I was waiting for you. And in a way, she feels like she's always going to be waiting for him, but in like a way where she could be like an old lady, turn a corner, and Oz would be there because Oz is always going to be with her as like a part of her. Which is interesting. It's a weird perspective, but it's an interesting one of like the people that mean something to you will always mean something to you and will always be part of who you were and who you become. So Oz is always going to be a part of Willow, regarding of anything that could have happened or did happen in their lives. So in that sense, she does care for him, and she does feel like, I could meet up with Oz at any point, and hell yeah, that's my guy right there. But we're not going to be together, right? And I think that's what she was going for, and I like that. I think that's a healthy perspective of like, this is someone that once meant a lot to me, and in some level is still going to mean a lot to me. But there's no way we can like go back and have what we had once. I think that's probably a healthy way to see any relationship, really. It's just like, we both move on, I moved on, but like on some way you're always going to be there, but it's not going to be the same. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, because I have relationships like that. I have relationships where like someone who once was like the center of my world, and then at some point it's like, nah, and we just stop hanging out, and then you talk again like years later, and it's like, yeah, like you still mean a lot to me, more so than most people in my life, even though we haven't spoken in years, even though we don't have like anything in common anymore, we don't talk anymore, I'm still gonna care, right? That's not gonna go away, because once you care about something that much, that's still going to be a part of you, even if a lot happens. So that's an interesting outlook to have, and I do like it. But it is time to move on, and it is time to have a healthy lesbian relationship with a cool, awkward girl who does a bunch of magic. I love Tara, and Tara in this episode has been great too, because again, how awkward she was. I have a bad habit of really liking characters who run away. I like that. That is one of like the toxic traits that is in a character that makes me immediately like them a lot, is a character who runs away. It's a character that gets in their own head, determines that their presence, even though they would like to be there, either isn't needed or would cause more problems and more troubles than it's worth. So they decide instead, I'm gonna leave, because that is the better thing to do. When in reality, all they're doing is that they're just feeding into like a weird self-defeating mentality of just like, I'm not worth it, so I'm just gonna run. I like that. I like that in characters. So this episode, Tara ran away a couple times. So I love that. I love to see that. You know who else runs away? Faith. Tune in next time for Angel Season 1, Episode 19, where we're going to see more Faith. The Faith arc continues. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about this Buffy episode. Just tune in for Angel, I suppose. Man, that's it. All we need to do in order to make the shows better, like, that's not to imply that they're bad, but just I want them to be better, is to, one, have more faith in Angel, which we're accomplishing right now, and I think she should stay. I think she should actually take over the mantle of main character. And then we should kill off Buffy and replace her with Tara. And we just have Tara the Witch. And that becomes the new show. Yeah, that's my pitch. All right, I think that's going to be it. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about this episode. There's just the whole idea mentality of like the initiative of like, all demons are bad, and Riley finally gets... I guess that's something that I should mention, and it's the fact that Riley finally gets to have that moment of, I am challenging the initiative. I am breaking free because I just fundamentally disagree with his views, because he's now being challenged. So now he has to make a choice, and he makes the choice of following his heart and being a good person. And so he punches the big commander guy and says out loud, I'm an anarchist, which is funny. It's actually funny. It is very unsubtle, and it is also funny to see Riley do that. I really, 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 really want to have Riley next episode show up, leather jacket, or like a black jean jacket, vest, honestly, with the sleeves like broken, a bunch of patches, listening to the Sex Pistols, hanging out with Spike. He dyed his hair green. He has a mohawk. He maybe or may not be wearing sunglasses, and he has a bunch of piercings now. And he's like tagging a wall in public. That's Riley to me now. That's Riley's character. That's great. All right, that's gonna be it for this episode of Buffy, I think. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys next time on Angel. Bye. Hi, I'm recording an extra thing here because there is actually stuff I want to talk about this episode. Like, this is after I finish editing it. But, yeah, some stuff I want to mention. First and foremost, I want to talk about, because I just rewatched it as I was editing the episode. And I feel like the first time I watched it, I was watching it from, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but from inside of my own head, like my own perspective. And inside of my own head, it's like Terrorland, essentially. So what happened is that I'm watching it and I'm like super into the whole deal relationship with Willow and Tara. But what I mean by that is that in my head I was thinking like, oh, that's just me, right? It's just me, like how clear this is. But like this time, as I was editing the episode, I was actually watching it from like a more objective perspective, from like an outsider, and I was just looking at it and I was like, there's no way, like it's like impossible for this to not be the most direct, obvious shit that you could do. Because I did mention during the discussion portion that I recorded immediately after I finished the episode, I did mention like, oh, it seems like they're doing their absolute best to tell you without actually saying it. But I'm watching this episode and I'm like, I'm wrong. It's just so fucking clear, and there's like literally no other way to like interpret it. And I think it still applies to like some scenes, like for example the scene where Willow and Buffy are talking to each other, and Willow tells Buffy without actually saying it, and Buffy's just like, oh, and it's like nobody says it but we all get it kind of thing. But then there is a scene where Oz is with Tara, which I mentioned, and I really like that scene. But Oz just straight up grabs her, and he's like, "Are you two involved?" And I think he asks, like, "Is she in love with you?" And it's like, there's just no way. It's that there's like that's just it. He just said it out loud. I suppose the way you could say it is like, well, he is saying it. It's not them saying it, right? I don't know if that is like a weird workaround. But then also at the end of the episode, Tara's like, you should be with the person you love. And then Willow is like, I am. And it's just like, okay, fine. Like, there's just no way. This is just too clear. And like, I think that's great. I'm not going to say it's not. But it is one of those cases where I, for some reason, was thinking they are not being as clear as they could have been. But then I'm watching this again and I'm like, no, it's like, it couldn't be clearer, right? The only way it could be clearer is if she just stood on a table and just yelled, I'm a lesbian, and just fucking started waving a lesbian flag. But like, you don't actually want to do that. That's not how real people work. That's not real. So what I was thinking is like, well, because this is so unsubtle, because this is so direct, and it is different from previous episodes in that matter, I think, because in previous episodes of the show, it felt like they were actively trying to not say it. They were actively trying to, there were quote unquote sex scenes between Willow and Tara, but they were not sexist. There was like spells, they were just holding hands, but they were doing that because of the spells. It's like, it's weird like that, but it is something that I'm watching that and I'm thinking, and people have told me this, by the way, that it's like, oh yeah, they're doing that because that's what they could get away with back in the day. But I'm watching this episode the second time and I'm thinking like, how did they get away with that? So it was something I'm wondering now is like, did anyone get in trouble with like, I mean, I'm sure that there was some kind of pushback from some people, but what I'm thinking is if like someone got in trouble with like the network, I don't know what the network was that was airing Buffy at the time, but I'm wondering if like the network or someone just got upset and they were punished in some way, the team behind Buffy, because I think that this is so clear that it's it's like, how could you not, right? They were afraid to do it before, but then this episode they just went all in for it. So now I'm thinking like, okay, was there some kind of repercussion? Was there some kind of punishment or something? Even like, and this was the year 2000, but even like something, I don't know, closer, I don't know what year it was, like, I don't know, 2017, something like that. But like when I'm thinking to an immediate thing that I think back to that I know about, is like something like Steven Universe. And that is a show that I watch. I didn't finish it, but I watch enough of it. And I don't fully know the details of the situation, but to my knowledge, what happened, and for those of you who don't know, is that Steven Universe is a very gay show, right? It's made for children mostly. It's a cartoon that is also a kids show, right? But it's very gay. Like, there's a bunch of lesbians. Like 90% of the cast of that show is just lesbians. It's a race of all female alien things, and if they have feelings for each other, then it's immediately a lesbian relationship. And it stems from the fact that the creator, Rebecca Sugar, she is, I think she is bisexual. I could be wrong. Again, I don't know much about the whole situation, but from what I've seen, I think that what happened was with that show that she really actively wanted to have not just as much as representation as she could, but also she wanted to have a wedding episode. She wanted to have two of the main cast of characters just straight up have a wedding on screen. It's just two girls. And if I have my facts correct, Cartoon Network was like, you can't do that. And she was like, fucking stop me. And then they were like, okay, so this is what you're gonna do. It's kind of an ultimatum. You do this, and then your show is over in like 5 episodes or something like that. They gave her a deadline of like, your show is done after this like amount of slots, or you don't do it and you keep going. And I think Rebecca Sugar just straight up said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And she went and had her lesbian wedding episode. And then the show ended very abruptly. And people were upset about that. People were upset because the show kind of had a mid-ending. And it's like, of course they had a mid-ending if they were forced to do it because they really wanted to have their lesbians. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because that is an example that I have recently in my memory that is not even from too far away. It's only a couple years ago, of like people getting in trouble with network television because they wanted to show something that is just so clear on screen. And I'm thinking like, this episode to me definitely crosses that threshold that they were trying to balance around. In the previous episodes with Tara, it felt like to me like they were not saying it as hard as they were with this episode. This episode is too clear. It's like impossible not to. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, dude, I need to know if someone got in trouble for this. Obviously, I don't think anyone should get in trouble for this, but it's one situation where I think that just to know the history of the show, I want to know. So people on Patreon, or I guess YouTube people are going to tell me regardless, but people on Patreon, let me know if there was some kind of not just public pushback. Like that doesn't matter as much to me, because I'm sure that there was a level of it, and I almost don't care about that, because even though that probably happened, I think that the benefits of this happening definitely echoed longer. Having such a very clear lesbian relationship with one of the main cast characters, and it's just really good also. I fucking love Tara, right? It's just a very good relationship, and the way they're displaying it also. I think that it's definitely just such a good thing that I almost don't want to think about like, oh, what it was like back then, people got upset. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter, because nowadays I'm sure that there's people celebrating these characters to this day. So it's like, I don't like focusing on the negative in that instance. I like to focus on like the good part, which is what people took from it, but something I would like to know is like, what happened to the show itself, like the people working on it. That's just something I want to know, just for keeping track of like the history of the show. Other things I want to talk about before I finish this audio, that I just thought about while watching the episode. I find really interesting how, and I noticed this as it happened, but I forgot to mention how Oz, he like identifies the relationship that Willow and Tara have before other people kind of do. Like he's immediately like, are you two involved? Like and like even the way he said it, he was referring to Willow's like scent, her smell, just like she's all over you. But just saying she's all over you, it's like, I mean, yeah, that's true. Like they are definitely all over each other. And like that whole sequence is interesting because Tara in that scene, and again, I fucking love Tara and I love that scene, but Tara just kind of gives up in her mind. She's like, Willow, I'm happy that you get to be with Willow, that you're back, you know, like I wish you both the best, she says, as she can't even look at his face, and she's probably holding back tears, and she just wants to run away. But Oz is like, you two are together, and it's so interesting to have someone just say like, oh man, I don't have a chance. Meanwhile, the other person is like, what are you talking about? You are together. So that's something I really liked, actually. And I also want to say that Tara is I feel like such a broken clock, just repeating the same shit, but like I love Tara, and I just want to appreciate how much of a fucking kind, good soul Tara is, because like I was watching the scene where Oz gets tranquilized by the initiative guys and they take him away, and Tara immediately, she doesn't have a moment where she's like stunned or she thinks like, oh thank God. No, she immediately is like, no, stop, what, you don't get it. She tries to explain the situation to the initiative guys, but Tara is so awkward and so bad at any social interaction that she doesn't really she can't get the words out, right? And she just had like a very like stressful, traumatic experience, so she probably is having a difficult time just speaking in general. She's going through like a shock, but she's trying really hard to just explain to them, just like, no, don't do that, that's bad, he you don't get it, he's good, you know. But they just go like, we'll take it from here, you know. They just speak over her and leave her. But that's just such an indicative of like the kind of person Tara is, because it would have been so easy. It would have been so easy for Tara to just like not give a shit, or it would have been so easy for Tara to just have a moment where she thinks like, oh thank God that wolf that was trying to kill me didn't, and he was taken away. Oh man, that's a bad thing actually. I'll go talk to Willow. Like it could have been a change of mind or something, but Tara immediately, like without even a hitch, she immediately goes like trying to protect, trying to vouch for Oz, who was trying to kill her 5 seconds ago. And that's just a sign of a really kind person, someone who is able to immediately bounce back and just jump in front of the bullet and be like, no, it's fine, you don't get it, right? And not just that, but it's like that's the guy that you're fighting your love with Willow for. But that's not how Tara sees it, because the way Tara sees it is, this is someone that Willow cares about, and I care about Willow, therefore I don't want anything bad to happen to him, right? And Tara's just so good. She's just so good, right? She's just a good person. She's just a ray of sunshine. She's just so fucking good. And the reason why that is such a the reason why that comes through so much is because Tara is so awkward. Tara is so bad at social interaction. She's so bad at feeling like she's worth anything, almost. Like that is what comes across with her. She's always trying to run away. She's always just defeating herself and just being like, no, it's fine. I have to go, you know? Like, I love that about her. But the reason why her good qualities come through so much is because even despite that, she stands up and she's like, no, this is what the good thing to do would be, right? And this goes back to even the episode with Faith. When Faith came in and she talked to Tara, Faith just said a bunch of really awful things to Tara that are feeding into like Tara's insecurity. And that's why I got really upset when that scene happened. But then Tara immediately went to Willow and she was like, there's something wrong with Buffy. Like, I don't think it's a trap. And Tara was the MVP in that episode because she solved it and she helped it. Like, they found a way to reverse it. Like, Tara did that almost all on her own. And it's one of those instances where, like, Tara she's emotional, but she's also very clever and practical. And she's able to put, like, her own insecurity and her own, like, really awful feelings and anxieties away for a second because she is able to identify what the correct thing to do would be. So in this instance with Oz, she's like shaking. She can't speak a word, but she's trying to protect them. As someone that was trying to kill her 5 seconds ago. Because she is thinking, like, not only that guy is innocent, you know, he doesn't really have any control over his transformation and stuff. Like, that's just not his fault. But also, the girl that I really like cares for him, so I don't want anything bad to happen to him because it would make her sad, you know? And in the instance of the episode with Faith, she's thinking, like, there's something wrong there, we gotta fix it, you know? There's something bad happening to Willow's friend, I want to help her. So, like, Tara is just such a good person, and she's just so helpful. And it defies belief to me how good this fucking character is. Sorry, this has been like 6 non-stop minutes of me gushing about Tara in more depth than I've done so up until this point. But like, I was just admiring that while that scene was happening in this episode. I was just admiring how fucking good Tara is, okay? You're not gonna stop me. I'm just gonna continue to do that, right? If anything bad were to happen to Tara, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself. Like, that's how I feel. But like, I'm watching this and I'm like, how did it take them 4.5 seasons to introduce the best character in the show? Like, where was Tara for like the past like 2 years? I've been watching this piece of shit show. I want Tara. I just want the show to turn into the Tara show, right? Well, I can't complain, right? Because we got Faith last season. I don't know what character I like the most, because the more I think about Tara, the more I like Tara. But also Faith is like genuinely like the most interesting character in the show. I suppose that is it, you know? Like, Faith is a more interesting character, but Tara is just a more likable character for me, you know? Just like, I am obsessed with Faith in the sense of like, I just want to pick her brain apart and I want to see what the fuck is wrong with her. Sorry, something fell because I was just swinging a little thing because I'm fidgety while I'm recording, and you can't see a video recording because this is just audio. But yes, I think Faith is just more of a character that I am intrigued by and I like because of it. But Tara is just a character I just like. I just like you as a person. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop. Something I just didn't talk about at all, but I suppose I should mention is Adam's plan. He was like, we need heavy casualties on both sides. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but he's promising Spike to remove the chip in exchange. So yeah, something's happening. I don't know what Adam is doing. I could predict something, and I'm pretty sure I've already done so. I essentially said that he was trying to be like kind of like a savior, you know, some kind of messiah, something like that, maybe. Like, he's trying to make like the monsters, the demons, the vampires, like think and try to like face their fears. That's something he tried to do in the past. So now I'm like wondering why that is. And now I'm thinking that like he has some kind of plan where there's gonna be like people are just gonna kill each other, and he's going to stand up in the middle and be like, don't you see that this is pointless, you know? But the way he wants to do so is by actually having like genocide happening on both sides and have like thousands dead, and then he'll stand up in the middle and be like, now you understand the pain and the loss of all of this pointless conflict, something like that, you know? That's what I'm thinking. But that's just a dumb prediction. I don't have any basis for it. That's just the vibe I get from him a little bit. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I recorded like an extra 20 minutes of just audio that I have to now edit, so that's just gonna add on top of my world. I was so happy that I finished editing the episode, and then I'm like, well, there's more to do because I can't shut the fuck up. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys next time. Bye. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this reaction episode to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you'd like to watch next episode of Buffy as well as Angel and the Angel watch alongs, you can do so at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below, social media, also the cool stuff that I do. See you guys next time. Bye bye.